Hello and welcome to the fourth episode hosted by the Undead Celluloid Society. My name is Michael,
And I'm Rachel.
and today we are covering the 2017 film Happy Death Day. Happy Death Day is a film about a girl in college that is reliving the same day over and over again, kind of like Groundhog Day, except at the end of each day, she is getting brutally murdered by a baby faced killer. Yes, a baby faced killer. So this movie is kind of like a horror thriller. It's there's a little bit of laughs in there. It's pretty lighthearted for the most part, but I think that the acting is pretty well done. I
Mm-hmm.
think that Tree is a pretty good character. She starts out pretty unlikable.
Oh yeah, she's a complete and total bitch.
Yes, she is. She is a bitch, but she goes through a lot of character growth. She's pretty shallow at first. She's kind of like one of those characters that you'd root against when you're watching a horror movie. Like, oh, I can't wait for this girl to die. But she goes through a pretty good character arc throughout the film. There's a lot of since she is reliving the same day over and over again. There's a lot of stuff that gets repeated, kind of like as a running gag, and she does go about it in different ways. So, uh, if you've seen Groundhog Day, it's like a horror Groundhog Day. I mean, it's kind of
Yeah,
a
and it just like that, you see the character development throughout the movie, and she's realizing like I'm a terrible person, and each time she's reliving this day, she tries to do it. Well, after the first like what 3 times, when she realizes like it's not deja vu, like she really is reliving this day. She's like, I'm gonna do this a little differently and try to catch my killer. Um, so I like that. That's the main thing for me is the character development in this movie.
yeah. So I don't know if I could go through an entire day and then wake up and then experience the same thing and be like, "Oh, this is deja vu." Would not think that's deja vu. I'd probably be freaking out on the second day.
I don't know, like if you had no idea what was going on, like you obviously didn't know that you died and came back to the same day, like you would. I think the first day you would be like, okay, this is weird, but like whatever, just like she did. And then the second, I don't think it would take me 3 days because even the second day, the second time she's reliving it, she still was like, okay, this is weird, but like maybe I'm just crazy. And
Yeah,
then
she
you
does
get
call
to the
herself crazy a lot.
yeah, and then you get to the third day, and that's when she's like, something is happening. I'm reliving this day. Like I absolutely know for sure I'm reliving this day.
Yeah, I agree with that. Um, so this is a little higher budget than what we typically cover. We're looking at about what 4 million,
4.8 million.
4.8, so almost $5 million. Still, not a lot of money for a movie.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, we there's movies now that are tens of millions of dollars,
Yeah.
and they're way worse than this. This movie is shot fantastically.
Yes.
The acting is superb. No one they are cliches of a character, but that's what I think that's the purpose of the plot. The direction of this is to kind of poke fun at sorority life, I think.
Yeah, like they're all very vain and oh, we don't eat carbs. We have to stay super fit and skinny, and we're like all preppy and stuff.
Yeah,
Which plays into the stereotype of sororities.
yeah. Christopher Landon, the director, is a pretty well known director, and he's done some pretty good stuff. I think this is definitely not played played seriously. If this is a joke, and I think you kind of see that with Tree's development too. Like she is the stereotypical horrible sorority girl at first.
Yes. Yeah, she, it seems like she sleeps around. She has an affair with her professor.
Yeah,
who
she's
is
banging her
married.
professor. Yeah.
She wakes up in some random guy's dorm room who actually turns out to be
A good guy.
very good guy. But yeah, no, she's kind of a bitch at first and plays into her sorority leader, I think they're called, or
Oh, Danielle.
yeah, the president of the sorority plays in just like kind of like plays off of her like Danielle's a bitch, so she's like, yeah, we're just gonna go with this because that's what fitting in is. And then you see her. It goes on to say, her mom died 3 years ago, and she's like, after she realizes that she's dying and coming back to the same day, she's like, I don't know if my mom would be proud of who I have become. And then that's when the development of her character starts to change.
You think that's when it happens? I kind of think it starts to change a little, like very minute, but I think the wheel starts turning when she is with Carter at the library and he tells her that they didn't sleep together. He says that she was too drunk and he slept in his roommate's bed because she had assumed up until this day, I think this is the third day, that they had slept together and they had not.
Yeah, but like still, even like after that, she leaves him in the library and like doesn't even contact him again.
Yeah, she's pretty horrible.
Yeah.
Still, you're right. But he does save her that night.
He does, yes. Wait, is that the night that
No,
she...
I'm wrong. A different night he saves her, and that's when you kind of see her start to soften up more towards him.
Yeah.
Not just, not sleeping with her while she's wasted, which he should never do. But he comes and there is a serial killer that is in the hospital with a police escort, and he escapes and tries to kill Tree in a later day, and he saves her, ends up dying in the process, but sacrifices himself for her, and we see that kind of character development from that.
Yeah, because she was like, she's about to kill him, and then she was like, wait, if I kill you now, then Carter is going to be dead forever.
Yeah.
And I can't let that happen. So then she basically sacrifices herself. But so, Michael, what was one of your favorite things from this movie?
So for me, a lot of things I really liked. I liked the direction of it. It's an hour 38, but it's a really fast paced movie. It you're kind of waiting to see what happens each day. Tree dies at the end of each day, and gets reset back in the dorm room. So she wakes up in a dorm room with Carter. He wakes up in his bed, then goes throughout her day, and she sees certain things throughout the day. So, but each day has kind of its own twist on it. It's like she interacts with people differently each day. It kind of makes it unique and fresh. It's kind of something that could get really tiresome, but they find new ways for her to die. Like the first night she's walking through the underground walkway, gets killed. Then she's at the frat party, gets killed. There's a time where she gets arrested, gets blown up. She hangs herself, as we mentioned. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of that. But a thing that's kind of, I think, unique to this film, I don't think is touched on other kind of Groundhog Day movies, is it's not without complete consequences. There's a time where she wakes up and she passes out. They take her to the hospital, and the doctor who she is sleeping with tells her that she has a lot of like internal trauma in her body. Mm-hmm. Like she should be dead.
Yes.
So that doesn't get touched on after that, but I thought that was an interesting thing to bring up. So I don't know if I don't recall the sequel, if that's brought up at all or not, but I'm curious to see if that comes back. But yeah, interesting thing to think of is that she's not completely living without consequences. Mm-hmm. I do also like that it's not a complete hero's journey in the sense of the second to last day, she has the perfect day. She uh, gets with Carter. She has that really emotional um, lunch with her dad. She kind of fixes all of the stuff. Like it's like, oh, this is the one. This is how she's going to do it. She takes out the serial killer. She does time. There's a power outage that it plays in each of the days. She times it perfectly so that she can sneak up behind the serial killer and kill him.
Mm-hmm.
So you think that's it, and then that's not it. She dies again.
Yeah, because her roommate.
Yes, because of her roommate. The twist. The twist is, spoiler, that her roommate has been killing her all these times and is framing the serial killer doing this. The cupcake that she is giving her a giving tree, which is the synonymous with the movie itself. Whenever you look it up, there's a cupcake in the thumbnail and everything.
Mm-hmm.
The cupcake is poisoned.
Yes.
So she eats it, dies. On the perfect day, the day that she fixes everything. And I kind of like that it's not, oh, she wrapped it all up in one nice little bow. It's it is a nothing's perfect kind of thing to me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
But yeah, I think, great, great direction, great cinematography, great acting. Overall, just a really, really good story. And I am, well, I mean, we'll tell you this later, but I am looking forward to watching the sequel. We are going to be watching and covering Happy Death Day to You next.
Yes.
But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on it. Rachel, what about you? What do you like? What did you dislike? Is there anything that stuck out to you?
So, so I don't know. I feel like this is different than the past couple movies we watched because it's not completely like a low budget movie.
Oh yeah.
So there's not a lot to pick apart to me, right? It's a good movie. The thing, like I said before, one of the things that I did like the most was it's almost like when you're reading a book and you get to see the character development throughout the book. This is such a fast-paced movie, and you get to see her character development in like what you said, an hour and 38 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you get to see that character development. You get to see her change and become this different person based off of what is happening in her life. And I feel like a lot of movies you don't get that, at least that quickly. But so I really liked that, and I really liked how the actress, I don't remember her name, but I really liked how the actress Jessica Roth, I really like how she portrayed like the difference in her character, beginning with the bitchy, vain, self-righteous sorority girl, and then the more compassionate and kinder person that she became towards the end of the movie. Like, you don't see that in a lot of. I mean, maybe you do, but I don't know. I feel like you don't see that quickly in a lot of movies. Normally, it's over like a longer period of time.
Yeah, usually the main character is not dislikable at first. They're usually likable to start out with.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Normally, the protagonist is just somebody who doesn't change. But so I really like that, and because like I love Groundhog Day, like one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's a good movie.
I like the concept of the going back to the same day and trying to figure out why you're going back to that same day, what's going on, and really having to like examine who you are and see if that has something to do with it. And I think that has a lot to do with it. It's not just that she keeps dying, going back. It's that she has to re-examine who she is as a person and change in order to overcome not only her death, but overcome the be different in order to continue Because if she would have just kept continuing, she would have been the same bitchy person, and she would have never come to that self-realization that like my mom would not be proud of me. So I really liked that, but obviously I like the acting and stuff. Um, with a higher budget, you can get people better acting, better cinematography. But given that it is, both of our birthdays next week, we just had to do the Happy Death Day series.
Yeah,
So,
kind of a birthday present to us. That's why we're going to do this one and then the sequel.
Yes.
To touch on what you said, I do agree with this horror take on Groundhog Day is done really well. And you kind of, I'm starting to see this trend more in horror movies where they'll do their own kind of spin on a well-known film. Like for instance, Freaky is Freaky Friday, another well done movie. And then there's a movie called Totally Killer that came out the year before last. Or no, last year. I'm sorry, 2023, and it is a spin on Back to the Future. And it's these movies are kind of like the genre's way of interceding into like mainstream culture, like taking a concept that we're familiar with, putting their own twist on it, and they're all being done really well. It's kind of really awesome to see. Happy Death Day, is it could have been a really boring film. It could have been a really repetitive film, and I think that the acting and the writing and the direction of the film really lends its hand to that and makes it not only enjoyable but something that you could rewatch and like pick up on stuff that you didn't see before.
Right, exactly. And I agree.
But yeah, so those are kind of our thoughts when it comes to Happy Death Day. I mean, as you can tell based on what we're saying. Oh, I will say there is, before we get into the rating, completely forgot about this guy. I didn't even think about it, but the roommates to Carter, the fine vagina guy, he will be making a bigger appearance in the next film. That's all I will say about that. But he is quite funny. He's been sleeping out of his car, he said, apparently, while Tree stays at their dorm.
He just wants a clean change of underwear.
Yeah, he just wants some fresh undies. But yeah, so side characters like that and Danielle, great.
Oh yeah.
Like they're not good people, but they're funny.
Yeah.
Make the movie great.
They do.
But yeah, so we'll transition into our rating. I mean, you can probably tell based on how we're talking that we both really like this movie. But we will go with our typical vacation rating system, and I'll go first this time. To me, this is like when I was a kid, I would go to Maine every summer. And I would pretty much do the same thing every year. Sometimes it would switch up. We'd do a little bit different. I eat lobster for dinner almost every day and stuff because it's cheap up there, and it was awesome. And it's pretty, and there's a lot of stuff to see. But it's like I knew what I was getting. But it was something I look forward to every day. I would compare this watching Happy Death Day to that because it is the same every day, but there's something a little different each time. But you like it. There's some familiarity there, and you just really enjoy it because it's a good time. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. Rachel, what's your thoughts?
So it's funny that you said going to Maine.
Maine's awesome.
When you were little, actually, because I was literally split seconds before you said that. I was trying to come up with my rating, my vacation, and I remember I literally, not even lying, thought about when I was little. And when we lived in Washington State, during the springtime, we would go to this beach and, we would ride in the back of my dad's old Ford truck, go down to this beach, and we would just look for sand dollars and, me and my brother and my sister would look for, we would have like a competition to see who could find the biggest one. And that was, that was our thing. We would do that and then go home and whatever. And that is what I would compare this to, is that, a an enjoyable time that you could do over and over and over again and never get tired of.
Okay.
And but each time you go, you're not gonna find the same sand dollars. You're not gonna, something different's gonna happen, like you said. But every time it's like a new experience. Like she's experiencing the same day, but it's a new experience because she's doing something different. So it's kind of like that to me.
Would you recommend this film?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've seen it multiple times.
Right.
So I absolutely would. Especially to people who liked Groundhog's Day.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's one of my favorite movies, and to have a horror take on that was just, it was exactly what I needed. It was the most wonderful thing to me, especially like watching this around our birthdays.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect birthday watch.
Oh yeah, perfect birthday present to us.
Yeah. So as we've already kind of spoiled, we are going to be watching the sequel, Happy Death Day to You, next.
Yes.
That'll be our next episode. That'll be episode 5. 5 episodes already, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, we thank you guys so much for listening. We hope you guys tune into the next one. But until then, my name is Michael.
And I'm Rachel.
And you have been listening to the Undead Celluloid Society. Thank you very much.